Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see who was here first. Sonia Johnson, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to have something to eat. I'll be right back. Story of my life. Let's see here. Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer, Lane Parker. Anyway, I don't think we'll be here longer than an hour. Okay. Um, so there's some new images of Harry in Ukraine. Uh, and we'll just get right to it, shall we? Now, I fixed that. Remember yesterday I was saying that it was out of place, but that's more like it. Although, yeah, it's fine like that. The other thing I noticed just now was that watermark. Let me get rid of that watermark. There we go. Unless I put that one there, but that's no, I'd rather just not have the watermark. To watermark or not to watermark? That is the question. I can move it too. Oh, you know what? I think I'd much rather have the numbers on this side. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I think I'd rather have the numbers on that side. That works. Or I can put it back. See what I mean? I can put it back. Well, I'm so used to having it on the left. What are the disadvantages? None that I can think of. So, nope, I think I'm going to leave it there on that side. Just for a little change of pace. Huh? How about that? Yes. How about that? Okay. And then as for the watermark, I could add something if I choose. Like if I want to put some other image up there. Let me sleep on that one. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. All right. I've slept on it. I think I'm fine just the way things are. And of course, there he is, our winner, Harry, the winner. Whereas that clown and that mute woman, um, they're stuck in his backdraft. I mean, come on, Harry's got that swag, right? Harry's got that swag. He is full of that swag. By the way, we are live. He is full of that swag. And yet he still knows how to have some fun. And he is ever so proud of his wife, just so proud of her. So much so that he asked permission before he took off and went over to Ukraine. What a man, what a man. Okay. Anyway, enough of that small talk. Um, the Invictus, the next chapter. So, did not realize that this was there, but yes, it is. And so, that being the case, let's talk about it a little bit. The Invictus Games Horizon event brought together supporters, partners, and champions of the wounded warrior community to celebrate a decade of achievement while setting an ambitious course for the future. The evening highlighted how Invictus has evolved from a sporting event into a global movement that changes lives, perceptions, and the entire system of support for service personnel. And by the way, you guys, I do hope that this week has alleviated a bit of the stress that you all were feeling about Harry somehow losing his grasp on Invictus. Invictus is very different from the Centabale. And yes, that should not have happened, but I don't know if anyone could have seen a situation where a person would sue to stay in an unpaid position, that someone would burn a charity to the ground, taking the aid, all of the donations, the aid away from those who needed it the most. I don't think anyone could have seen that coming, and yet that's exactly what happened. But this is very different. And, let's hope for the sake of the people who need Invictus the most, the athletes and their families, that nothing like that ever happens. Because the thing is, Cintabale ceases to function. It is just barely there. Buildings have been shuttered and such, but I do believe that Invictus is very different from Cintabale. Harry deliberately um, went into a fundraising position with Cintabale and left it to someone that they trusted. But this is very different. I just do not believe that the veteran community would ever allow something like that to happen. However, it does put you at a disadvantage when you do things properly, when you rely upon oversight from independent bodies rather than trying to be the micromanager. Yes, it leaves room for a lot of mishap. However, Harry was not the only founder. There's Prince Say-So. And while I'm not going to criticize Prince Say-So, we still haven't heard anything from him either. And I mean, after all, the charity is, well, so it's focused in those areas in Africa, and it's just a mess. But after Harry's week, I just don't think we should worry about that. I um, I think that something as big as Invictus, someone trying to run that into the ground in that type of way would do nothing but cause a lot of headache for people other than Prince Harry. So I think they dare not. Harry has demonstrated an overwhelming amount of popularity this past week. And in spite of everything that has been thrown at the Duke of Sussex, at the Duchess of Sussex, they still remain incredibly popular. No matter what those emotional support polls say, no matter what the tabloids say, they still remain incredibly popular. So don't believe the negativity. Don't let the derangers get into your head and say, I've seen that. Oh, I hear that David Beckham is going to take over. David Beckham isn't. I don't believe he's ever had anything to do with the military before, huh? I mean, come on. There's not that brotherhood there. So, like I said, don't give in to that. Don't let those negative thoughts steal your joy. I don't think there's any merit to anything of the sort, and it's just something. The way that I drag those left behind royals. One of the reasons why I do that is because it's so therapeutic for me. I imagine it's somewhat therapeutic for you. And also, the way they try to get into your head. Well, likewise, being as passive aggressive as I can be sometimes, that's exactly what I do. I want them to wake up with the worst possible headache day after day after day, which is why I remind them that the Sussexes are still winning. That's why I do that, so that I can make them feel wounded, troubled, irritated, depressed. You take that negative and you just throw it back at them. By the way, let's see. I see a Cash App from someone with the initials of MG. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And also, Elaine Parker, thank you for the super sticker and for being a moderator and for being a member of Royal Sussex. So thank you very much. And just all around good person, right? Right. Hey, Mad World, Lydia Washington, Lisa Combs, Gwendolyn Daniels. Okay, so anyway, to continue with this, and by the way, there are pics that go with that. Love that. By the way, this event took place at that building in the UK that looks like a big cucumber, right? The one that's got those kind of X bracing glass facade. Anyway, it's that tall building. I think it's in that financial district, or is that Canary Wharf, wherever that is. Um, yeah, it's in that area. Kind of like their downtown skyline area. Well, anyway, that pickle of a building, it looks like they're on the upper floors. Yeah, that's a great place to hold an event, I think. So it says here, a decade of remarkable growth, 10 years since the inception of the Invictus Games Foundation, has achieved milestones that seemed impossible at the outset. What began as 13 countries and over 400 competitors at the inaugural London 2014 Games has grown into a truly global community. 23 nations participated in the most recent Vancouver Whistler 2025 Games with 534 competitors, representing wounded, injured, and sick service personnel from every inhabited continent. The movement now encompasses innovative developments like Vancouver Whistler pioneering hybrid winter games and Germany's first ever Veterans Day. That is a big one there. Germany did not have a Veterans Day. And the way that some veterans were treated in Germany was pretty sad. It was pretty sad. Given their history of war and conflict, I guess it should come as no surprise that the public was not exactly warm to the idea of celebrating veterans. But thanks to the Invictus Games, the first ever Veterans Day in modern Germany, if they ever had one before that. That is remarkable. And that comes from the Invictus Games. Perhaps most impressively, Nigeria became the first African country in history to join the Invictus Foundation when they debuted at Dusseldorf in 2023. Its national program has flourished in just 3 years, complete with an Armed Forces Invictus Center being built in Abuja, opening the door for continental expansion across Africa. This just grows and grows. And what's really special for you and me and all the rest of the squaddies is that we were there. We were there. We were actually there to promote and donate and to uplift and celebrate almost from the beginning. So I hope you will take some ownership of that. You really should. Kavan Sim says the royal rodents were camped out at the airport to try and get that last paycheck off Harry. Well, they pulled the okey doke and took the train to Ukraine. That's right. I'm leaving on a train to Ukraine. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, they pulled the old okey doke on them, the old bait and switch. Had them look the other way, and next thing you know, Harry was in Kiev. Bet you they didn't see that coming. But then again, it's hard to see anything when you're a royal rodent. When you're a royal rodent, you have those little beady eyes and those freakishly large ears and whiskers. You have that obscenely gross looking pink tail that you're dragging around. Of course, they didn't notice that Harry actually went someplace else. And had they had a little more imagination or just paid attention, Harry makes those very, shall we say, almost like a ninja, right? You know how the ninjas wear black and they walk softly and you just never know where they are until they pounce. Well, that's exactly what happened. With those cat-like reflexes, Harry just kind of, vanished. And then when he reappeared, he was in Kiev. Now, last time he went to Lviv, this time he went all the way to Kiev, or as some people in the West would say, Kiev. And well, it was just incredible the way he was received. The Royal Express is what they named the train. Gotta love it. Anyway, thank you again for the super chat. And Lisa Combs, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so let me get rid of that royal rodent and take a look there. Again, these are images from that night. Ukraine, a testament to the urgent need in recent visit to Ukraine, has underscored the vital importance of the Invictus Game mission. Right now, the scale of need is staggering and unprecedented. Ukraine is facing upwards of 20,000 military amputees. 20,000 amputees. And that's just from the military, with German officials estimating 30 to 50,000 Ukrainians amputees overall as a result of the conflict. An estimated 300 new amputees are created every day, and by the end of the year, there could be some 50,000 Ukrainians in need of prosthetics. If we learned anything from the earthquake, was that in Haiti, right? When they had that earthquake, and some of those buildings that were not really built to an earthquake standard. I mean, they just don't have earthquakes like that all the time. So, unlike a place like California, where they have a pretty high standard for those things, these buildings, in some cases, was built with the material that was available, and because of that, some of them collapsed pretty fast. And from that, well, there were quite a few amputees. That's the one lingering thing that I recall from the earthquake in Haiti, was the fact that so many people lost limbs, not to mention lost their lives, but especially in a place where there's not a lot of social safety nets. There's some places in this world, if you don't work, you don't eat. You don't work, you don't eat. So, wow, there's something to think about. So, by the end of the year, some 50,000 Ukrainians will be in need of prosthetics just to lead somewhat of a normal life. I haven't seen any updates about Haiti, but I could just imagine. Okay. And take a look here. Again, Harry at that reception that they had in central London. Isn't it amazing how it just seems like everybody just in the room gravitates toward him? Enough to make some of the left behind royals pretty jealous. I have to believe that in spite of how horrible his father can be, I do hope and pray that there is some kind of acknowledgement of pride at the work that Harry has done. I hope that there's some acknowledgement of pride coming from his father. I really do. I'm sure that would mean a lot to him. But this is Harry taking care of business, which is why it breaks my heart. The many times that you see people in those comments and even some of the articles and such where they remark at how dumb he is and how short-sighted he is and gullible and naive. Well, tell that to someone who has actually witnessed him taking care of business. Tell that to some of those people, and I think you might get your feelings hurt because he's anything but naive or gullible. Harry stands up on business. Now, I do have a soundbite for you. Yeah, I tell you, the more that they try to pull that crap, the more protective I become, and with good reason. Never underestimate anybody, let alone the Duke of Sussex. Okay, let me get this queued up. And by the way, you probably recognize the lady there. That's the one that Harry greeted Harry at the train station when he arrived in Kiev.
That was his second visit to Ukraine. The first one was at Superhuman Center in April, and the second one actually took place yesterday. He came all the way to Kiev, which is not that easy because the air is closed. So he took a train to get to Kiev, and he had a very productive meeting with the veterans, basically talking to Invictus Games team members and other veterans who were wounded during the Russian aggression. And he was talking mainly about, the challenges they're going to face after being discharged from the military and the ways how they can cope with it. The main message is, you have an example. And if somebody did that, you can do it as well.
Yeah, it's a great example as we're showing some of the pictures of him meeting some of the veterans there. As you say, it's a second visit there. Clearly, he's formed some kind of bond with the veterans there, as well as your mission. He said he wanted to humanize what Ukrainian soldiers are going through. So why is that international attention and recognition so important, do you think, for the recovery process?
Absolutely. It's very important first to get an expertise from the countries who already went through this path and who had an experience. And second, it's very important to bring the right example in front of our veterans, because Ukraine has 1.5 million veterans and the number is growing. So it's going to be a very big challenge for the country when the war is over and even now. So we need to get prepared for that. And visits like that are helping us to forecast the challenges we're going to have. That was his second visit to Ukraine. The first one was at Superhuman.
Okay, sorry about that. So yes, his second visit to Ukraine and the first visit to Kyiv. Spectacular. So the Prime Minister, Severodinko, I had a meeting with Prince Harry during his trip to Kyiv, showed him the consequences of the Russian Iskander missile hitting the government building. We talked about the work on the rehabilitation and recovery of veterans. I thank the Prince for his support of our Ukrainian military after service at various venues, including the Invictus Games. Prince Harry founded these international sport competitions for veterans in 2014. Now our dream is that the Invictus Games should come to Ukraine. That would be a real full circle moment for Team Ukraine. It really would. As a matter of fact, I hope that they will create some kind of sequel to Heart of Invictus, considering the way the Heart of Invictus actually had a huge amount of coverage of the war in Ukraine. If you haven't seen that, you guys, you really need to see Heart of Invictus on Netflix. It really went a certain direction that I was not expecting, and it was all quite by chance. But if you have an opportunity to see it, I say make sure you put that on your to watch list because it was very, very good. Hey, Church Nelly. And here are some images for the visit with the Prime Minister. There again are one of those trains. I love those trains that they have. And remember, they are showing Harry around some of the buildings that were damaged by some of those incoming missiles, which, for the most part, Russia wasn't targeting certain places in Ukraine, especially the government buildings. But that seems to be on the table at this point. So it is with a great deal of risk that Harry made this trip. I hope you guys realize exactly how much of a risk that Harry has taken. This is an active war zone. So when he says that his wife gave him permission, I think it was incredibly considerate of the Duke of Sussex to make sure that he spoke about it with his wife before he just went off to Ukraine like that. Because could you imagine what it could do to a relationship if you don't have those conversations? So I love that Meghan is not trying to wrap Harry up in cotton wool. You know what I mean? Meghan has not put pressure on him not to do certain things, like, to go to a war zone or to go and learn to do the surfboard or paddleboard or whatever the heck it was, to go scuba diving. And I mean, Harry is still quite the action figure that he's always been. And I think that's what keeps the relationship strong, is that there's no pressure to not be yourself. I think that's a beautiful thing. Here's another image. I mean, look at that building. God only knows how old that building is, and it is completely gutted. You can see that the interior of the building has been bombed back to the bare brick walls. You can see that huge radiator. Obviously, this building is open to the elements now. And if you've seen the video, you could actually see Harry pick up something off the floor, which to me, it looked like part of a missile, to be honest with you. Let me see. Oh, you know what? I do have that. Let me see if I could share it with you. Let me see if I could share it with you. I don't suppose they would mind if I share it. So let me grab that, and I will show you this 20-second video of Harry inside of this building. Would you like that? Now, if I could just figure out, where did that just go? Where the heck did that go? Where did that darn video go? Huh. Okay, you know what? Let me try that again. Now it's got to be right there. Okay, let me try that one more time. Wow. You see what I'm saying? Harry is or was in a very active war zone. And you can see where he actually picked up some of the debris right off of the ground there or off the floor. One more time. Imagine what it must mean for people here or the people that is served by the Halo Trust when Harry goes and walks through those landmines and those cleared landmines fields. Imagine what that must do to morale when you have a visit like this. I could only imagine. Now, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, visits a site of the Russian attack in Kiev. City military chief Timur Trakchenko thanked Harry for his compassion and support for children and the wounded. That right there is very powerful. I love this, and also I do have that to share with you as well.
More than 20.
Okay, that didn't work out. Hold on a second. Let me do that again. Oh. Okay. That one is going to take. Do I have that right? No. I should. Wait 1 second. I know I got it. Yes, I did that one already. So let me try to do this, and I'll bring that up for you right away. There we go. Wow, this is very powerful, you all. This is extremely powerful, this whole thing. And just think, this is Harry's second visit this year.
Administration, Russian Federation launched approximately 200 drones and more than 20 missiles.
Aimed all at civilian infrastructure?
Yeah, all civilian.
How many other places got hit?
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
This is the first minutes of Turkey. Our special services are working. This is the guys who rescued. The fire also, the first minutes.
Oh man, I tell you. Anyway, I got some there's this one. Oh, I love that. I love it. I absolutely love this. And take a look there. Again, as I said, that at this point, Harry's goal was to not only honor the soldiers, but to honor the children that have been lost, because this building, that was a civilian target. That was a target against civilians, not a military installation, not some secret underground bunker or something like that. Trust me when I say this, I'm pretty sure that the enemy knows exactly where the government installations are. But this was just a deliberate act of terror. That's what it is. It's a deliberate act of terror. So again, for the morale of the people that are still in these communities what it must mean to have a visit like this, especially from someone who genuinely cares, not someone who is there to flaunt their status and pretend to be some type of global statesman, but a real global statesman. And then, of course, Prince Harry pays tribute to fallen Ukrainian heroes during visit to Kyiv. So this is a makeshift memorial. I think I mentioned that yesterday. Let me see if I have something for this. Okay, I think it's that same one from yesterday. Yeah. Okay, I'll just do that one for now. Only 4 seconds. But again, I'm very impressed with the amount of security that they have layered there for the Duke of Sussex. Let me see if I have one other one that I could share with you. In the meantime, let's go back over here. I'll put that one up. Okay, no, that wasn't what I thought it was. I think that is the, no, you know what? I know I have something else. Give me just 1 second, you guys. I hope you don't mind. The whole point of saving these. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah, the whole point of these is that I would share them with you. So this is only 15 seconds long, but just to give you a broader view of everything that's happening around the visit. Okay, coming up. Thank you for your patience. If I could hire someone, the thing I would have them do is to label everything for me, because that is the one thing that I have not taken the time to do is labels. And there is a lot to label. I could assure you of that. Okay, coming up. Okay, 1 second. Okay, let me do this, and I'm sure it'll be ready. Again, thank you for your patience. Okay, here goes. I hope this is right. There we go. So as you can see, they have not blocked the area off. There are still civilians walking around. Very impressive. Okay, now let's continue to go through these. Let me see if there's any comments. I have not been looking at the comments. Some time ago, a little boy lost both legs and wanted to know if they would grow back. I almost cried for him. Heartbreaking. Oh my God. I could imagine. I could imagine. And the one thing that you hear repeatedly from people that lost limbs is that they dream that they were running or walking. Gwendolyn Daniel says, that's heartbreaking to see so many people lost their lives and homes. Putin is like that dumb Donald Trump. They're demons. Shelly L, hi. Oh, Shelly wants to say hi to a few people. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Be great. Harry is well protected. Okay. Oh, just finished cooking for tomorrow. Nice. Very nice. I pray that this isn't. Yes, that would be great. That would be great. It would be such a completion, right? It would really be a full circle moment. Okay. Let me keep it moving here. There's another image. This very much reminds me of when Harry went to New York and went to Ground Zero. And these kind of things, you know that Harry, being such an empathetic person, is very moved by all of this. Phantom pain, we call that. I had a patient that lost their legs and still, wow, phantom pain. Thank you for clarifying that. Wow, look at all of that. All of that represents living, breathing people that are no longer here. That's what that represents. That memorial represents husbands, daughters, sons, sisters, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, grandparents. All of that represents people. And this is why I get so, if it's one thing that those people do, the tabloid media, the derangers and such, if it's one thing that they do that really gets under my skin, is when they speak of how Harry looks like this or looks like that. This man carries the weight of the world on his shoulders. Everything about him is about helping other people, about uplifting the people around him, about maintaining his mother's legacy, to pick up where she left off. There's nothing selfish or cruel or mean about that. And yet, the little pettiness of the whole, oh, Kate is going out to compete with Harry, in so many words, for his last day in Britain. I bet you it really baked their noodle when they saw that he was in Kyiv. Prince Harry with Ukrainian veteran Artem Krebet, who is a double amputee and now hopes to be an Invictus Games competitor. I'm glad that Harry came to us. Wow. That is really nice. That is really nice. A double amputee. When Prince Harry was visiting Ukraine in April this year, he received not only Easter cakes, but also these cute dolls dressed as Vyshyvankas, Ukrainian national embroidered dress. Oh, okay. As the dolls had red hair, I think they were for Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. Now, I don't remember that, but one of the squaddies posted it. I'm just like, really? I don't remember that. But here, I did this for you. Wait. Where is it? Okay, how did I mess that up? Oh, okay. I got it for you. Give me just a second here. And now you can see it better. Listen, as an overcaffeinated, chubby baby boomer, I too struggle to see things. And that's why, as you all notice, that quite a few times I actually zoom into stuff like this because I figure if I can't see it, I'm pretty sure about half of you all can't see it either. If I can't see it, I'm more than certain that some of y'all can't see it. So, there we go. Kevon Slim says it's all about competition and who overshadows who with these useless people. Thank you, Kevon Slims. Pitting women against each other seems to be a very typical British tabloid media thing about pitting one woman against the other. And of course, being able to pit one brother against one another like that is another example of it. I saw some documentary where they were boasting about Cookie. If you don't know who Cookie is the Queen Mother. And Cookie, if the Queen Mother was cast in a costume drama, if the Queen Mother was to have been cast in something like a Downton Abbey, there's no way she would be upstairs. She would definitely be downstairs because she looks just like Mrs. Patmore, or should I say Mrs. Patmore from Downton Abbey kind of reminds you of the Queen Mother. Not exactly upstairs material, if you know what I mean. Kind of short and dumpy and kind of looks like something from a Disney movie. Well, that being said, Cookie, the Queen Mother, they had a documentary where they spoke about how, what's his name? Hartnell, the photographer, photographed her and how she dazzled the French when she went over to Paris with those gowns that she wore throughout the day and everything. And oh, they really made her sound like she was the Liz Taylor of her day. I find that very hard to believe. But of course, in any of those documentaries about the royals, there always comes that point where this queen or that princess met her equivalent someplace else, and how they were bedazzled by the British royal and all of their finery and such. Don't you know that the documentaries that they make in the other countries, they say the same thing about their royals? There was nothing so impressive or extraordinary about the Queen Mother. I would imagine just about anyone could have risen to the occasion. They make it seem like there's not a whole army of staff behind those people, a whole army of staff. So I will give them credit for certain things, right? But let's not try to turn Cookie into Liz Taylor, okay? She's not exactly Liz Taylor from the movie Cleopatra. She's Cookie. And she has that nickname not only because she looks like a cook. They say that, well, the rumor is that her mother was actually her birth mother, her biological mother was actually a cook. And that because of some fertility issues, they, of course, never thought that Cookie would be the queen of England. So, anyway, that's just a rumor. Who knows if it's true? But yes, they said that her actual biological mother was a cook that was brought over from Paris or from France somewhere. Go figure. So if you've seen The Crown and you heard the Duke of Windsor refer to her as Cookie. Oh God, that was so funny, Cookie. Yes, Cookie was a cook. Well, yeah. And of course, the spitting image of Mrs. Patmore. Baron, thank you for the pictures of Prince Harry in Ukraine. Harry is his mother's son. He is attentive and empathetic. Yes, indeed. You're welcome, Dolores Williams. Thank you for being here. Did I not have something else up there just now that I meant to respond to and I didn't? Huh. Oh, well. Let's see. The comeback Prince inside Harry's triumphant tour of the UK and Ukraine. After years of negative press, the Duke of Sussex has had a triumphant week where he reconciled with the king in between making charity appearances and generous donations. You know, I don't hold out that something special is about to happen with Harry, and I don't really care to think that Harry in any way is coming back, because I don't think that that's the case anyway. I don't believe that Harry wants to come back. Harry offered Queen Elizabeth II the opportunity to do certain engagements at no cost to the government, at no cost to the royal family. That was the half in, half out. And I want to make sure that everybody remembers that that was part of the offer. It wasn't just, oh, for the glory of it. It was Harry remaining in service to his grandmother, which was very important to him, no matter what the tabloid media wants you to believe. He made that offer because he loves his grandmother. And the other part of it is that it would be at no cost, meaning that the Sussexes would pay for travel themselves. If I am needed, if my wife is needed, they have both agreed, husband and wife, Harry and Meghan, that we will travel and we will do whatever on behalf of the crown. And of course, there was the very famous, the Queen said, no half in, no half out. If only I could believe Queen Elizabeth actually said that. Was that Queen Elizabeth? Or was that the men in gray suits? Or was that Charles III or Prince Charles at the time? We really won't ever know. We really won't ever know. Because what we do know is that at that time, the Queen was probably not well and maybe just a little bit senile. We don't know. And of course, there's the whole thing with Philip, her husband of however many years, moved over to Wood Farm and in all likelihood was living with another woman. the Queen had a lot of things to think about, not to mention paying 12 million or more pounds to someone that her son said he never met for something that he said he didn't do. I'm pretty sure that also weighed on her mind. So whether the Queen said that or did not say it, the Sussexes put the offer on the table and it was rejected. And from what Harry said, the Queen said absolutely nothing in the Sandringham summit. Willie was yelling at the top of his lungs like he had some kind of mental problem. And Charles was making accusations that Harry is pretty sure that he knew were absolutely untrue. Okay, so there's the Queen, there's Harry, Charles, William, and those men in gray suits. So what did the Queen say or did not say? We don't know. What we do know is that there was only one outcome. There was a document printed with one inevitable outcome. Even though they said there were 5 directions this could go, they only printed the one that they knew would be the direction that they were going, which was no half in, no half out. That's why I said, did the Queen say anything? We don't know. That doesn't even matter anymore. Harry put the offer out there. If for any reason Harry is called upon to represent the government, it would be because of this week. It would be because of exactly what we have seen this week. Now, I am a little uncomfortable about that because, as far as I'm concerned, they may try to exploit the Sussexes if they would consent, if Harry and Meghan would consent to do something for the government. They would probably try to exploit the situation in some way. I don't know. But I do think Harry's got enough sense not to do something that is not in his best interest. Like when Charles was trying to connect him to the cash for honors and Harry hit the ceiling and that was the end of it. Okay? Harry's not stupid. They tried to connect him to that cash for honors. They were trying to coerce him into taking pictures with some of those people. There are no pictures of Harry with those people that had anything to do with cash for honors. No connection whatsoever. Because he knew better. They tried, but it didn't work. William, well, that's a different story. So, we'll see. Antoinette says, Baron, if the royal family tried to overwork Harry and Meghan with all the tours after they were married, they got mad because they were well liked and outshined them all. Yes, they did. Very true. Very true. They worked circles around those other people, and they did not like it at all. It was embarrassing to the rest of that lot. Absolutely embarrassing. Okay, let me see. Where are we here? Huh. All right. So let me see. We're at about an hour. All right. Ukrainian chef. Is it Vevin Klopotenko prepared traditional dishes for Prince Harry during his visit to Kyiv. When I learned Prince Harry was in Ukraine, I immediately thought He should taste what his mother loved, he said. He prepared borscht, buckwheat porridge, verachunka, and Cerniki, taking them on a train to deliver personally. Prince Harry arrived in Kyiv on 12 September at the Ukrainian government's invitation to support thousands of servicemen injured in the war. Well, oh, by the way, I see I just got a PayPal. Thank you so much for that. The initials are AM, as I don't want to say the actual name, but thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. Yes, thank you very much for that. So that is the letter that I shared with you yesterday. You remember that? That is the letter from yesterday. And that was from the Buckingham Palace, a letter from Princess Diana. So it says, Prince Harry was given some borscht for the road. Have you tried borscht, friends? Did you like it? I've never had borscht. I have never had it, but I would like to try it only because I pretty much eat anything that don't eat me first. And let me see if I can decipher that letter again. It says, from Oliver Everett Esquire, member of the Victorian Order. Dear Miss Hopley, the Lady Diana Spencer has asked me to thank you very much for your letter. The Lady Diana's favorite recipe is borscht soup, which has the following ingredients: beetroot, natural yogurt, onions, chicken stock, milk, sour cream, salt, and pepper. You know, I want to try to make that. I really do want to try to make that. And that is from the 7th of April, 1981. So that was before the wedding. And as you can see, with the 3 feathers, that is Buckingham Palace stationery. That is the symbol of the Prince of Wales, right? That's the symbol that Charles has used anyway. I don't know if William uses that, but those 3 feathers. And I suppose it was signed by Lady Diana Spencer, I think. Nope, not, is it? Or is it Miss I don't know. Somebody signed it, but for some reason they pixelated the signature. I do have the video, so I will share that with you. And this is actually him showing the letter to Harry, which I thought was interesting. And this was like a little moment where gifts were given. And that mystery gift that the lady has given Harry to give to Meghan, who knows? It might be some type of love potion. Not that they need it. Not that they need it at all, but who knows? If there's anything the Sussexes do not need, and that is a love potion, they have plenty of that between them. So, yes, I need only grab the video from yesterday, and that should do it. And I'll just show you the little exchange that they had. Okay, that's weird. How come I don't see it? Borscht. Oh, well, I guess it wasn't that important. but I'm going to try again anyway. Huh. Okay, maybe it wasn't that important. Borscht, borscht, borscht. Okay, well, never mind. I'm just kidding. You guys know I'm going to keep going until I find it. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, got it. Got it, got it, got it.
Yeah. And that's the letter for the Mr. Mrs. R. Hopefully. And you will today you will have the borscht here with the borscht my restaurant. And also that if you want to cook one day, you can put a few spoons to the water and you will have the nice borscht.
Who's that good looking guy?
I don't know. I think it's me. And
Hello, it's Eva. It's a present for your wife, Meghan. This is Ukrainian.
Yeah, so instead of saying cheese, they said borscht.
And that's the letter for the Mr. Mrs. R. Hopefully. And you will today you will have the borscht here with the borscht my restaurant. And also that if you want to cook one day, you can put a few spoons to the water and you will have the nice borscht.
Who's that good looking guy?
I don't know. I think it's me. And
Hello, it's Eva. It's a present for your wife, Meghan. This is Ukrainian.
Okay. Well, you know what? That is it for today. Well, actually, I may come back later for about 13 minutes. I may come back later, but I need to go to the store before they close. And it is getting late. So I think I'll be back in about 3 hours. And so with that, you guys, thank you very much. Borscht. Borscht. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. But yeah, I'll be back in a little while, about 3 hours, you guys. I mostly got everything set up, but I'm going to add a bit to it, and then we will we'll resume later. So this is part 1 for today, part 1. Hope that works out for you. For those of you that will probably be asleep by then, or perhaps you've started your day, you can always watch it later. It'll be a different thumbnail, so you'll know that it's different. Okay? Love you guys. I will see you later. Cheers. Boy.